Well, you got one over on me, Microsoft. We'll talk about it when we get back after introductions. Well, it's just my opinion and observation. You can believe it or reject it either which way, it's up to you. But I have observed each generation of Microsoft operating system gets more and more bloated and cumbersome with overheads that we don't really need everything to do, and lots of features that aren't necessarily features for us at all, but they're features for someone, marketers, data collectors, and that sort of thing. I find that the latest version of Windows 24H2 is extremely bloated. It has things in there we can't turn off. We had, of course, Copilot, and they're really pushing the AI stuff. And, you don't know what stuff is doing, when it's doing it. And if you're not using AI, you don't really need it, do you? At least I don't. It's particularly cumbersome on laptops like we've got here that we've been doing. They're old laptops, just don't need a whole lot. Just in this one that we just had last week's episode on, just building it for web-based functionality, portability, that sort of thing. Full-size keyboard. Don't need a lot of stuff on my hard drive, but Microsoft forced it on me anyway. Short version, we had just put the memory in. We had talked about we could put a hard drive in it, but it's a SATA, and it's freed up. We got half the space. That's good enough probably for the next couple of years. And we restarted the machine, and lo and behold, beyond my desires, I certainly didn't tell it to, I see we're updating your system. We're putting your stuff, which is typical of any of the updates, until I saw the word hi print across. We're getting stuff ready for. That means I got a new operating system loaded on. And I went and I looked in my system. Yes, they put two on that same day, one of which was the new version, the latest version of Windows 11 with all of the Copilot and all that crap up in it, which it was already slugging the hard drive before and the computer before. It certainly wouldn't be good with this. And so you normally have 10 days to rip Windows out if they put an update in on you. And it had I just watched it go in. So what did I do? Told it to uninstall the two updates of today because I have a new hard drive and was going to put it in anyway, and I didn't want to have it as 24H2. I would rather it stop at 23H2, which is a little bit lighter to run on an older machine. And it did it, and it ripped it out, and then it put it right back on, and it told me that then took away the option to remove the update. So we put a hard drive in it, and that's what this video is about. Well, we have her in. It finally came in. This is the new hard drive, and that's okay because this one's been corrupted by Microsoft, where they forced, the day I was working on this, they forced 24H2 on it. So we're going to put this over here. It's going to go in the external enclosure, and we're going to put this bad boy here, Team Group. I'm not giving it a nod, but I've used some Team Group before and I've not had too much trouble with it. So I'm going to use this here, put her in, and I have my little enterprise auto answer file set up there with 23H2, which is what we're going to rebuild this with. Well, we just put it in like this. If I can get her to go in and go down, and then we'll put this little screw in right there. That's it. All right, well, we have our new enclosure for this because this is SATA. It's sort of a dying breed, so to speak. There's still a little bit out there, but this says it is a USB 3.2 Gen 2, and it says it will do NVMe and SATA serial ATA, which is good, which is the reason we have it, because we already had an enclosure like this, 2 of those, but they're not SATA compatible, so they only will do the NVMe's, which is pretty well much what we're going to. There's a box, no big deal. We get a little screwdriver, we get a couple of 2 cables. One is going to be C to C, the other will be C to A, and we have our little enclosure here. This, I guess, is metal. I guess it would need to be a heat sink. And here, of course, is our enclosure. We put it in for the 2280 over here in this position. Put the little mounts down. It is nice that they give us a number of screws and whatnot to go with it. So we'll do that for the old hard drive that used to be there, and we'll get building with the operating system momentarily. Well, we have our little heat tape, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in. I'm not going to peel it off and stick and take the release liners off, because this is not an NVMe and it's not going to get that hot. It's an old SATA drive. So we'll just put that in there so we don't lose it, and slide the cover on. And the cover does have a screw in the back that we will use to hold it into position. Well, if we've done this correctly, we've got our little drive set up over here. We should be able to push the little button. I do have a little off balance there. Here we go. We ought to start loading in a little bit of our windows, and hopefully it'll take the key. I pulled the key, the existing key, off the existing OS here, so that when I build the operating system with 23H2, it won't have a problem with the key, and I get rid of my 24H2. Plus, I have it stripped down with the auto answer file. Well, let me interrupt myself real quick here. You might wonder how long does it take to put the operating system on. Well, if you do it in an enterprise way with an auto answer file, you can take out a lot of the bloat and a lot of the stuff that you don't want in the first place, okay? The thing is, I am not very good at computers, and I don't do a lot of this anymore. I used to back in the NT days, when NT stood for new technology. That was the stuff, but we haven't been there for a while, and I'm getting old, so I have found some tricks of the trade. The first thing we want to do is we want to find our old key, unless you want to just go buy a new license on your system. So here's the thing. This may work for you. I won't guarantee it will. That's the fact. So I'm going to go over to my center panel. Maybe I can put my little self here in the corner like this. We got the Google up. I'm going to pull up a file that I've already pulled the information from. And I have a command line right here that we run, and it will go out there and tell us what our key is on our running system, on our running laptop. Because I don't have the original key, because I don't know that it shipped with it. I guess it does. I looked inside the case and whatever. I don't have my little genuine Windows sticker with the key on there, so I don't know what it was. I have to go find it. Well, that's what we're getting ready to do. Let me zoom in a little bit more on this. And if I need to, I'll zoom in in the production of this. It says, to find your Windows product key, using the command prompt, open it as an administrator, and then type in this command. It is wmic path software licensing service. Software licensing service is capitalized, but there's no spaces. Get, and then this command, this thing here, which I would not try to read to you. Now, there's also some breakdown of some step-by-steps you can use. But yes, you can go do this, and when you enter this command that's right here, it will give you your original key. And I used that. I copied that down, wrote that down very carefully, so that I would have it. And of course, I will give you this in the text of the description over on the YouTube page so that you can go down and look at my thing and just either copy that down or just run it through a command prompt if you know how to do it as an administrator, because it's going to make you do that. So we got that part. Now there's one other thing that I will have to do, or that I do to make my life much, much easier, is right here on the Google. It is this, I don't know if I can show it to you because I have that part trimmed off, but we're going to do, well, there it is. It is right there. I will zoom in and provide it for you on the white space under Google. It is a web address of a gentleman in Germany. DE is Deutschland. It is Schingens. I don't know if it was shenanigans or whatever, or I don't even know how you spell shenanigans. It's not a word I use on a regular daily basis. But we use this location, and if we go to it, I have it loaded up in the address bar. It'll bring up the page that I use. There we go. Now, if you can see up at the top, generate an autounattend.xml file for Windows 10 and 11. And what you just simply do is you go through here and you answer your questions. And I'm not going to run that through this for you, but you can go ahead and answer these questions. And what it will do is it will build you a file called the unattended answer, whatever that is. You just copy that. When we get to the bottom, we have here, hey, appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, if you will, subscribe to the channel, either the YouTube or the Rumble channel, which this appears in. And if you can, check the notification bell or settings to make sure that you get notified when new videos are posted. Appreciate it. Build you a file called the unattended answer, whatever that is. You just copy that. When we get to the bottom, we have here, download the XML. See where I have my little arrow right there, my giant arrow? Hit that and download it, and then save that off. And when you build your media installing jump drive, you put this in the root of the jump drive, this unattended, auto unattended, and it answers the stuff for you. Now you may have to enter a few things depending on what you select, but you can do it. Now what I did is it makes it easier. I just put my network password in there, my SSID and my password and other bits, as well as that key I just showed you how to get into this auto unattended answer file. And what that does is it generates me something that when I put it on my little, where's my little boxes here? You've seen my little boxes, right? When I put it on the appropriate one, right, I can then run my system just by putting that little drive in there and rebooting the system. And that's what we just saw starting up. Does that make any sense to you? I'll give you this gentleman's address in the description so you can use it as well. It'll be right under getting your key. So hopefully those two things are worth me making the video even longer than it would have normally been. All right, let's get back to it. Yeah, there we go. It does have it pulling up. There we go. I've got to hit the old input button to tell it to go. There we go. It's going to ask where do I want to put it. It's the only drive in the system now. We'll hit that, and now we should be going. There we go. Maybe I'll back it up just a tad. So we see that we've got our little green bar. We're in step 2, installing Windows. We just restarted. You know, I don't know how many times I cleaned that screen. I can't see it with my naked eye, but as soon as I put the camera on it, it highlights the color differences, I suppose. So there we started up. We should see our high in just a second. It doesn't take long. So we've got her loaded up, and we'll be blue screening here in just a second. It does say we're getting ready now. Again, every time I look at that screen through the camera, I see all kind of little white specks that I can't see with my eye, but the electronics is probably doing some filtering and refractoring and polarization, or gosh, I don't even know what all. We are into running our scripts now, so we're just almost done. Now you can see what the scripts are doing there. That just changed my registry. I set the registry up to not let it install past a certain point. Now all I can see is myself in the reflection. Screen's just going out. Now it's beginning to reboot. I got to pull it just a second. Well, we got our white screen. We should see our high in just a second. I have set it to be a black background. We'll see if that works. Anyway, we're still running through the setup. Not all that exciting. Well, obviously it's gotten the internet working because it's doing the checking for updates. And we did set the key up inside of the setup file. And now we are restarting. It's loading those updates in is what it's doing, I'm pretty sure. I don't know that I was signed in, much less signed. There's your high telling you just loaded an operating system. There we are getting things ready for you. That's what I saw when I didn't personally upload 24H2. It did it on its own on the update. I thought I had that stopped, but perhaps I had an error. Either that or Microsoft ignored it and put it on there anyway. I'm not really sure which. And we're all the way done because we did get the background and personal settings updated, so we know we got there. Well, we will put our screws back in. See, we got that one. We've got the hidden one there. And we've got the other one. There we go. We can keep the rest of the dirty table from focusing on it. And then, of course, we'll see how much of this we can get the stick back on. We may need a little bit of rubber cement or spray adhesive, something to make this work. Well, we had one piece of our little rubber strip that, of course, the top one broke, or the back one broke, the thicker one, and most of its carrierless adhesive remained. This piece missed it, so I took a little of this Elmer spray adhesive. It's what I got around the house. You can see it's been around a little ways, a little icky. Maybe I unlocked and icks. No wrinkle, dries permanent and fast. All right, well, we're going to try to use this. I use this for papers and what all and that kind of stuff that we glue back down. Let's go see if it'll stick to the laptop. Well, this has been going on a very long time. I suspect that this might be encrypting my hard drive, even though I told BitLocker not to. So I guess I'll have to wait till it's finished. I don't want to interrupt it. But then what I'll do is I'll go see if BitLocker's on, then I'll turn it off and decrypt it, hopefully decrypt it. Well, while editing, it looks like I got 3 more minutes before I hit 20 minutes or beyond. So if you want to know how I lock out either the update to Windows 11 from Windows 10, there's a way you do it with a policy in HKey Local Machine software and policy. I do it with a little file. Now, the last Windows 10 is different. It's 23H2, and you would put in your Windows 10 Home Edition or Pro, whichever one you would have. You would use the correct name for that. But I have, in this case, I'm building this to run Windows 11. I just don't want to have the 24H2 on there. So I lock it down to 23H2 Home Edition. And this is just, I would just clip this out and put it in that auto unattend builder. There's a section before it runs the individual scripts logging on an individual user, I put it in to log it before it actually boots the first set of updates. So in case it were to go through there and go, hey, well, you're 23, let's automatically, while we're here, update you to the latest and greatest. That's what this little section does. Now, it does write it to the registry, and anytime you write to a registry, you might booger up something. This has worked for me. I don't say do it or not do it. It's up to you. The other thing I point out is, as this thing is normally going to default through this gentleman's script builder, this autounattend file builder, it's going to wipe out the hard drive. It's going to go and reformat, reinitialize everything. So whatever you put on your hard drive is going to be gone unless you take a care or two to make sure it writes to a different partition. It's going to erase it. Now this is a virgin disk, so it's not a problem. And I do have the original hard drive in that enclosure you just saw us use, so I can get to anything that was on it before I put on a brand new virgin SSD. All right, appreciate you watching. I hope this has been worth it to you, because it is a little bit of a long video, and I skip a lot of the stuff that everybody else has already covered, if it makes sense. Like peeling the case off of it after we get the screws out. Okay, hope this has been worth your time. Thank you.